So we're pretty much in December, which means that it is time for us to do a monthly reset. This is going to be the last monthly reset for 2023, and I am so proud of myself that from January until now I've been doing my monthly resets, and honestly, it's been I've been enjoying doing my monthly resets because for me, it gives me the time to just sit down and plan for my finances and just make sure that I'm accountable in terms of making sure that each and every month I'm sitting down, I'm setting goals as well as budgeting for the month. And so I'm proud of myself that I was able to be consistent, making sure that each and every month I show up for myself, I show up for my finances, and I show up for you guys to share my financial journey, or basically my planning journey with you. And I'm so glad that it has been inspiring a lot of you guys to just start being intentional with setting your monthly resets, sitting down and doing your monthly resets, budgeting, setting goals. And I'm hoping that as we start 2024, we are going to be intentional as well and just make sure that we succeed in 2024 in our finances. And it starts with the small habits, the things that most people do not find enjoyable or interesting, such as sitting down and setting a budget, as well as being clear about what do you want in the year 2024. What do you want for your life? Where do you see yourself? With that being said, let us get into our monthly reset. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Jen Ngumalo. If you're new here, I'd love for you to join us by clicking that red subscribe button on the bottom. I think it's on this side. Just click that red subscribe button on the bottom. And also don't forget to smash that like button, you guys, because it does help to push my videos for more people to see, which also results in the growth of this channel. So we are on episode 3 of 12 Days of Christmas, which is basically Vlogmas. It's just that I'm not going to be vlogging as much compared to when I was doing Vlogtober. Vlogtober, I vlogged a lot, but with December, I'm really not going to be vlogging as much. And that is because I am not really... Like right now, I do not have the time to be capturing a lot of things that I'm doing because it's very much go, go, do, get this thing done, get this thing out, make sure that you finalize this. And if I then put in vlogging in the middle, it's just going to take away on my time. And so that is why I haven't been vlogging. And that is why even with this Vlogmas, as well as these 12 days of December, I'm not really going to be vlogging as much. I'm going to be doing sit down videos on topics that I feel like are going to help to equip you to make sure that you have the best 2024 and beyond, that you set yourself up for success, that we work on that mindset so that we know that as we are being intentional in terms of setting our goals, working on our finances, we are clear about the life that we desire for ourselves, as well as how to get there. And so that is my idea, and I'm hoping that you guys are going to enjoy it. And I know that the numbers are not going to be the same because putting a video each and every day is quite a lot. And I know that even when it comes to the consumption, it is a lot to be watching a video each and every day. But I really just wanted to do this so that even when I'm not posting from the 17th of December until January, that you guys have something that you can go back to, videos that you haven't watched, and just catch up with that. So let us get into our reset for December. As the tradition of our monthly resets, we know that we start with reviewing the previous month. It's always very important to do this, and I'm looking forward to doing the resets for January because I'm going to be reviewing 2023 in its totality and just looking at how I did. But for now, we're just going to be reviewing November because we're still in December, and I want us to look at how did things go in November. Now, when it comes to November, it was busy, you guys. Like, before I even get into my goals, I'm opening my journal, by the way, here. In November, it was absolutely busy. Like, I was sleeping late, I was working hard, my back was aching because I was just doing a lot of things. And I'm hoping that as my business grows, as my brand grows, I can be able to be in a position whereby I can get help. Like, especially on those busy periods, I can get help. Or even on a normal day-to-day basis, just get help, because there's some things that I can't even get to because of just how I am stretched. If I'm being honest, I feel like I'm stretched too thin. I have my 9-to-5 job. At the same time, I'm also a mother, so I have to show up for that. I do my best to make sure that I show up for my child. When it comes to my business, I understand the value that I'm bringing when it comes to my business with my brand. I know the vision that I have for this business. I know where I want to see it, and I know the potential of its growth. And so at the same time, I don't want to have assets on this side as well and just take it lightly, because I am building something here, and And I'm not doing this just to pass time. I'm doing this because I know where I'm heading. And so I'm finding myself being stretched too thin, because even with my business and my brand, there are so many hats that I'm wearing, and it's very difficult. So I'm hoping that in 2024 I can be in a position whereby I can get help, someone that can help me to do, the basic admin when it comes to my business or when it comes to my brand, so that I can focus on the creative part, whereby I have to create products that I know that are going to be useful for you guys. Every product that I create, there's always intention behind it. There's always a reason why I created, and it's always solving a problem. And so I know that I'm going to be creating a lot of products along the way, because what happens is I just get an idea as I'm working on my content, as I'm working on my business. I'm like, oh, this could be useful to someone out there. And then I'll create a product. That is how I go about creating products or anything that I sell. And then also I can focus on my YouTube channel in terms of creating and editing and just making sure that I'm showing up, as well as just making sure that on my business side, I'm showing up for my clients in the mentorship program. Like right now in December, I'm going to be opening for enrollment, and that's when I'm going to start in January. But if I'm going to be starting in January, I need to have time to be able to show up for my clients. And so I've been thinking about that, and I realized in November that I am absolutely working hard. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but at the same time, there comes a time whereby if you really, to maintain your sanity, you have to draw back on some things. But I couldn't, because some things I couldn't just outsource. I couldn't just give to someone else to help me with. And so I did a lot of things by myself. And so on November, I launched my journal. I put it up for pre-order, which flew by. People were buying the journals. That product launch went so freaking well. Literally, we sold out on the first few days. First few days or a week. Within a week, we sold out of the first batch that I had, and I had to order more, of which even that, we sold out of that. And so, I feel like that's been one of the successful businesses, or basically one of the successful products that I've ever released, even comparing even in the past. And when I think of the past, I've always done things that I've seen people do that I'm just like, oh, okay, that would be nice to have. But now with this brand that I'm building right now, I feel like there's so much intention behind it. I'm very clear about the things that I'm creating, the value that it brings, and the problem that it solves. I'm not creating things just because it's a nice to have. When I worked on the journal, it was because I had been doing my own journal for the entire 12 months. I had been sitting down and setting up all of these spreads for the whole year, And I realized that it is not sustainable. And I also realized that many people wanted this, but I didn't have it in mass production. I didn't have anything that I can say, okay, here it is. And so that is why I ended up deciding that, it is time for me to create my own journal. At first, it was an idea that I thought I was going to implement in 2024. But then I realized that, let me just jump the gun and do it. And the launch of that journal, guys, it went so freaking well. One thing I learned in that period of time, even now, one thing I've learned is the importance of building a community. If you want to build a business, if you want to build a side hustle that will require people to buy something from you, either it's in a digital form or a physical form, or even if they have to buy your services, it's very important to build a community. I am so glad that I went back to Instagram. I am so glad that I went back to Instagram, because majority of my sales came from Instagram. Majority of my sales, they came from Instagram. And that was because on Instagram as well, just as here, I've built an intentional community. I've built a community of people that that desire to work on their finances, that desire to improve their finances, that are being intentional, and that on its own allowed for this launch to be successful. I know that many of you guys on the YouTube side showed up. You showed up and you showed off, you bought, and I really appreciate that. I honestly appreciate that. But I'm also saying that the reason why we're able to sell out, it was also because of Instagram. On Instagram, I'll put up a reel or a story, and instantly within a day, maybe I'll get like 4 orders, like maybe 5 orders. That people who are ordering multiple at the same time, ordering 5 journals, 3 journals, 2 journals, and it was all every time whenever I would post a reel or I would post a story about the journal. I'm telling you, the sales will just fly by like this. And so I'm sharing that to just say, if you want to start a business and see like the success in terms of getting the sales, please prioritize building a community. Do not create a product without having a community. Do not also create a product that does not solve a problem. It does not mean that does not mean that it must solve everyone's problem. Like the journal is not solving everyone's problem. That is why not everyone bought it, but it is solving a problem for someone. And so just get used to that create a product that will solve a problem. Don't create a product that is a nice to have. Create a product that will solve a problem. And then, more than anything, create a community. Create a community around your brand, around your business. And I've seen so many brands that have succeeded that I just feel like they are doing amazing work. And that is because they've literally built a community around them. So that was it that happened in November. We released the journal. I had been working on other digital products such as the debt repayment plan. That is also solving a problem, but not a problem for everyone. Not everyone is in the phase whereby they want to be paying off their debts. Some people have started, some people have paid it off, but I know that it is solving a problem for someone. And so I released that. And then I've just been busy working on the production side of my business. And then now, when it comes to my goals, I wanted to save a total of 6,000 in November. Now let's get to my budget. In my budget, I was able to save 6,210. So I can just tick that goal to say that I did achieve it. I didn't have a lot of financial goals in the month of November, and that was because I just knew that I had other things that were more important that I needed to focus on. And also, there were really, at this time of the year, there really isn't much that I want to be working on, because I feel like I put in a lot of work during the year, that now that we're at the end of the year, I'm just wrapping things up. And then when it comes to my business goals, I wanted to launch the financial journal, which I did, and it was a success, and it sold out. And right now, I've decided that I'm going to order more. And the reason why I'm ordering more is because there was a mishap on one of my clients' orders. When she received her journal, there were some pages that were missing. When I checked the other journals that I still have here to ship out, they are fine. And I'm hoping that the rest of the journals are fine. I am crossing my fingers that they are fine. But because of that, because I had sold out everything, I bought mine as well. And then came that problem of one of my clients getting a journal that doesn't have all the pages. I had to decide to give her my own journal, which means that right now I do not have a journal. And I refuse to create a product that is solving my problem as well and not have it. I refuse. And so for that reason, I'm going to order more journals, which I'm going to have to sell, so that at least I'm ordering because I want a journal for myself. As I said, I refuse to create a product that is solving my problem as well and not have it. I refuse. 2024, I'm using my Every Cent financial journal. I'm not going to be doing this thing that I've been doing the entire year. I am not going to be doing that. So I'm going to be ordering more. And so if you've been eyeing the journal and you're watching right now, just be on the lookout for that. Obviously, as soon as I get a confirmation of everything, then I'm going to open for sales, but I'm going to only start shipping in January, because last time I communicated with the printing company, they said they're currently very busy because everyone is busy with journals right now. And so they're very busy. So they'll be able to do my journals in January, which means that I'm also going to start shipping mid-January. So yeah. And then, so that is it when it comes to my goals for November. Now let's look at my budget. When it comes to November, I would say that I was able to stick to budget. There really isn't anything that I would say sticked out. When it comes to my budget. There really isn't much that really stood out for me. I do know that I was able to save the way that I wanted to save. My income was fairly much okay. And then when it comes to my weekly allocation, this one, I will say that I did mess up here. I did mess up here because on the first week, I had planned that, okay, this is the money for this week. But then I went to my partner, and then the next thing where I wanted to buy other things and whatnot, and so I ended up having to dip into my weekly allocation and buying things bit by bit, because normally when I do weekly allowances, what I do is I go once at the shop and I'll buy all the things that I'll need for that week and the things that we may need even after that week. But that week I didn't do that, and so I found that I was wasting money a lot. Like, money was just finishing, and I was just like, where's the money going? So that is the flop that I did in November. Like, I really flopped on that one. That is what happened when it comes to my budget. But besides that, there really isn't anything that stood out. So now that we are done with November, let us get into December. So for December, this is my spread. I'm just going to take a picture of it because I don't think you can see. But that is the cover right there. For some people that ordered the journals, I did put some of these stickers like randomly. So I'll just put in on an order here, put it on an order here, because I have a lot of these stickers and I'm going to be using them in 2024 on my journal as well. So I just wanted to share them with some of the people that ordered. And so when it comes to December, I am going to be busy. I'm going to be busy with creating content. That is what's going to be happening on the first few days of December. The first half of December, that is what's going to be happening. I'm filming this on a Saturday and it has to go up on Sunday. I have a video that I have to edit that has to go up today as I'm filming this. And so every day I'm going to be releasing a video up until the 12th of November, which is actually not a long time. It's just that each and every day I have to make sure that there's a video for that. And I'm going to try to scrooge up my content there and there to make it some make it a vlog form, some make it sit down, so that it's not just talking head in all the videos, because I don't want you guys to get bored. But at the same time, I don't want to do too much. The most important thing is to create the videos and put them out and make sure that it has valuable content. Now, when it comes to my goals, I don't really have a lot of goals as well on December, but I do know that I want to save a minimum of 5,000. I'm really not saving a lot this month, and that is because I've saved so much. Like, I was able to fully fund my emergency fund this year. I was able to save up for the car because I want to hire a car in December, of which I've already hired. So I've already paid for that. So this is the car that I'm going to be using at home, because normally when I go at home, I'm always googling around with taxes. Sometimes I'll get at home at night because I've been exchanging taxes since morning. It is a headache, you guys. And every time whenever I do that, I always ask myself, I'm like, Jen, you wake up every day, you work. Why are you punishing yourself like this? So this year I was very intentional for saving for that. So because I was able to save for that, I was able to hire a car for the holidays. So I'm going to be using that car for all the days that I'm going to be at home, as well as just saving for other things as well. And also what I did, remember on that video that I did about Frank, the money that I had built up on my emergency fund and my intention about it. So I did withdraw a portion of that. I did take some of my savings that matured on Time Bank, and then I added with the returns from the business on the journal for the sales of the journals, and then everything together, I then transferred it into my easy equities, and then I started investing. So that has been going well. I have just been getting back into the groove of understanding how easy equities work, as well as just how these assets work, and just learning about some of these assets. Honestly, right now, I'm not investing on individual assets. I don't like investing on individual assets. I like ETFs. I like ETFs because they are a clump of companies or a clump of assets in one thing. And I know that, okay, if I put this sum of money here, I'm not just betting on one thing. I'm putting it in and it's going to be diversified. And so for me, that diversification is very important. So right now, I'm not investing on individual assets like one by one. I'm investing on ETFs. And then another thing that I want to save a minimum of 2,000 in January. Now I'm going to do a video about how I'm preparing financially for January, and I feel like that's going to be useful. But for me, just to give you an overview right now, whenever I'm planning for my December, whenever I'm looking at December and January, for me, I look at those 2 months as 1 month. So I start planning for my January in December. When I plan for my December, I also plan for my January, because January for me is a month that I just feel like it's a continuation of December, but it's just that it's a different feel. There isn't as much celebrations or festive. Now we are back to reality, but the reality is that for many it comes with being broke and not having money, and I do not like that feeling. And so already I want to save a minimum of 2,000 for January. This is money that I'm just going to be using for me when I come back, to be able to stock up the fridge, stock up the cabinets, make sure that we've got food. For other things, they've got savings for those. We're going to talk on that video whereby how am I preparing for January. And then I also want to budget for December holidays, and the cost is about 4,000 that I'm thinking that I'm going to put aside for December. I might find that this might be more. The downside about the holidays is that when you go home, people expect that if you haven't been there for the whole year, you must be the one that spends the most. Like, people will look, when things are finished, they'll just look at you. They'll just look. They won't even say anything. And so that is the downside about December. What I do now whenever I go home is I do not stay for a long time, because when you overstay during December holidays, you will overspend as well. So what I do is I go for only Christmas, and then as soon as Christmas is over, before New Year's Eve, I am back, because I'm refusing to spend twice. You're going to spend on Christmas, and then I'm going to spend for New Year's as well. I choose not to do that. So I choose to come back so that I know that I do not have to spend twice. I know that I've spent on Christmas. That is the most important holiday for me. The New Year's Eve, I honestly do not care for that. And then now let's get into the business goals. When it comes to the business goals, I want to order more journals. So that is something that I already started communicating with the printers. And then I also want to create a page for mentoring. I want to create a page for the financial mentoring on my website. Right now, when you go on my website, there really isn't any information about this, but I want to put it in there. Most of the people that inquire about my services when it comes to mentorship, they come via Instagram, and normally they just send me a direct DM, but I want to have something that I can direct them to so that they can gather the information and make the booking. That way, I do not have to respond to a person one by one, because that does take time. So now that we are done with December goals, let us get into my December budget. My budget this month is not that long. Like, there isn't any allocation for weeks, and that is because for weeks, for me, I'm always looking at while I'm here. And from when I get paid on the 15th, we're leaving soon after. And I'm not going to be buying anything for here. And so what I've decided to do is to just not have any allocation not to have any weekly allocation for December. However, save that money allocated towards December spending for at home, and then save for January. Then I know that, okay, from January, I can sit down and set a budget for January. But for now, I didn't want to put any weekly allocation, because I feel like it's going to confuse me. And so when it comes to my income, I'm hoping that I get paid over 3,000 on YouTube. We will see how that goes. My other income is going to be very low, but I'm okay with that, because it's not like there's going to be a lot of spending on the side of here. Like, there really isn't any spending that's going to be happening in December here. The spending is going to start when I'm in KZN. And then, so my savings, I'm still going to continue to save for my emergency fund, even though I fully funded it. But then I took portion of my savings within my emergency fund and I put it on EasyEquities. Like, right now, I think I'm left with about 19,000 or somewhere there on Frank, and I'm going to be building up again. I've been finding that it's very interesting to invest on EasyEquities when you have a lump sum instead of small amounts. So, because I feel like I'm more intentional with the assets that I'm picking. So with that being said, I'm still going to continue to save for my emergency fund. I'm also going to continue saving for my child's education fund. We don't stop. Whether it's holidays or not, I do not stop. And then for the other savings that I have been saving on the stokvel, we finished in November. So in December, we are not saving for that. And then I'm going to be saving for January. And so altogether it's about 5,200. And then when it comes to my expenses, they are pretty much minimal because some of the things are not here. And so right now, what is here that is not normally here is the transport for the holidays to go home. So I'm budgeting 1,000 here. And the reason why I'm budgeting 1,000 here is just to have at least 500 to cover for the cost of going down and 500 to cover for the cost of coming back. When it comes to the cost for going home, like my home, that one I do not have to worry about because I've already hired the car, and I still have savings that will cover the deposit, which will cater for the petrol in the car, as well as having additional funds for me to be able to put in petrol if need be. When I'm at home, I'm at home. I don't really go around a lot, but it was my mother's 60th birthday this year, and I really want to do something nice for her, but I don't know if I've got enough resources to do that. But maybe even if we can just go out as a family for a day, go by the sea, take the kids, and just go do something fun. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I'll see how my resources look like, especially when I'm at home. I can sit down and plan for whatever those activities are going to look like. And also, there's someone who asked about how do I plan for December, family events and all the stuff. At home, we're really a small, neat family. Like, we are not a big family. When we're at home, it's literally my mother, us, her kids, and her grandkids. That is all. We don't normally have extended families coming to visit. We don't visit extended families as well. And so that allows me to not spend as much and not have to feel like I have to do a lot of things. We also do not do a lot of things at home. Like, we do not have events. We don't have like random events. We never have those things. The only time at home we're gonna have some sort of something that needs money, something that is out of something that is out of the norm, is when it's a funeral. Otherwise, we do not do anything else. Like, we're just not the type of a family, and I love that because it just helps us to always it helps us to minimize our cost. We don't do a lot of things. We don't do parties. We just don't do a lot of things. So for us, spending in December is just all about buying food and making sure that there's enough food for the kids and for us. That is all, and that is why this year I really would love to just take my family out, especially given that we'll have some sort of a mode of transport. Make use of that to just go and do something that we don't normally do, because as I said, at home, when we're at home, you're at home. You're at home until you leave. That is what we do. And I like that because for me, when I'm at home, that is my resting time. I know that for many people, when they're at home, they don't rest. But for me, when I'm at home, that is my resting time. That is the time that I just pour into myself. And when I say pour into myself, literally just sleeping. I will sleep and wake up around 10 and have something to eat, go back to my room and chill. That is my life when I'm at home, and I enjoy it so much. And that is because when I'm at home, my home, the way that it is not demanding. We don't do unnecessary things. We're not going to take down curtains now and start washing them. We don't do that. We just we don't add unnecessary stress and work for ourselves. When we're at home, we are resting. And when I'm at home, for me, honestly, like last December, I enjoyed it so much because I rested, you guys. And as you can see, I work so hard when I'm here. I'm working so hard. That is why I don't want to be thinking about creating content and posting when I'm at home, because honestly, the moment I get home, I switch off. I'm automatically on rest mode. That is when I'm consuming content, watching vlogs, that is when I'm chilling. That is when I'm watching movies. That is when I'm watching series. That is my rest time. And then the moment I come back here, my mind switches on, and then I just want to work. So I know that when it comes to my spending at home, I don't really have to worry much, so long as I'm being realistic of the cost. And that is why I'm putting 3,000 for the possible cost on groceries. That's all. And then the other thing that I want to do, just to take out my family, I have to budget. I have to look at my savings for that and see where I can just take in order for me to do that. And as I said, it is a special year because my mother turned 60 this year. And so I just want to do something different for us as a family. So we're gonna close it off now. That is all that I just wanted to chat with you guys about. When it comes to my monthly resets, there really isn't much going on in December, except that I'm just gonna be posting, and then as soon as I go home, I'm going to be disappearing for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll come back in January. So just don't be shocked when you don't see me after the 17th, because I've announced it many times. If you feel like you don't have anything to watch, or maybe you don't see me posting, go back to all these videos that I'm going to be posting for the next 12 days. I'm sure that many of those videos you would have not watched as I'm posting them. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one. Please take care and stay safe. Bye.